everybody, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be starting yet another reading vlog, but this one is going to be very fun because today I'm going to be doing a 24-hour readathon situation with my friends Cass and Mackenzie, which I'm so excited about. We've been planning this for a couple weeks now, and the fact that it is finally time to get into it, I cannot wait. I'm also really excited because this readathon does have a little bit of a theme for me, at least, and that is going to be me reading Christmas romances for the foreseeable 24 hours. I've been slowly collecting and accumulating this TBR full of Christmassy romances. Also, sorry if the lighting is like going in and out. It's a very sunny but cloudy day. I have 4 books. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish all 4 of them, but we'll just kind of see where the next day or so takes us. So let me talk about the TBR and then we will get into some reading. So the first 2 books I'm definitely gonna be able to finish. The first one being Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. I believe this is like a best friends fake dating to save a Christmas tree farm kind of situation. I've heard really good things about this one. I know a lot of people really like it, so I'm very excited to get to it myself. And then I do have a kind of witchy Yule romance, so it's not exactly Christmas, but like holiday vibes generally. And that is obviously The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. This is the 3rd book in a companion series, the first one being The XX, then The Kiss Curse, and now it is time for the, I think, final book in the series, The Wedding Witch. And I do believe we're following 2 main characters that end up going back in time accidentally to the 50s, and they have to work together to figure out how to get back to the present day, basically. I believe this follows one of Reese's brothers and a character that has been like in the periphery of the series thus far, and I'm pretty excited about this one. It is also incredibly short. It's not even 300 pages. It's like 270 pages. Which does worry me a little bit because we're tackling time traveling, you know, as well as having to develop a romance, so I don't know how it's gonna go, but obviously I will be reading it and finding out and letting you know. Then I also do have 2 books that I'm gonna read on my Kindle. I feel like I've not been doing a lot of Kindle reading this year, but like recently, I've read at least 1 book on my Kindle, so let's read another one. The first one being a novella, a very, very short Christmas novella, and it is, oh, what's it called? Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood, I believe. This is a part of that like Amazon collection of 5 Christmassy novellas written by different romance authors. I can't say I've heard great things about the collection as a whole, but for what it is, I feel like it'll probably be fine. I'm also just interested to see what I think of Ali Hazelwood's specifically because I've not been loving her recent releases. So I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this one, but I will definitely be listening to it and letting you know. I think it's literally like an hour, maybe. And then the other one I do have high hopes for because I've seen really great things about this, and that is Holiday Romance by Catherine Walsh. I've heard really good things about this one, so I'm quite excited to get to this one as well. But this is gonna be like the last book that I get to because I'd like to prioritize my physical reads first, but hopefully I will be able to read at least a little bit of this one. And I believe it follows 2 characters who keep kind of meeting on this plane ride where they're both going back to, I think, Ireland for the holidays maybe, and throughout the years they keep kind of being in relationships at different times and not really being able to obviously pursue a romantic relationship between the 2 of them. But I think in the current day maybe they're finally both single and holiday romance things ensue, basically. It's exactly what the title promises, I'd say. But with that, that is my TBR for the day. It seems excessive, but also romances, I feel like you can just absolutely fly through. So we will just see how it goes. I'm definitely hoping to have a very cozy day reading with my friends. It's gonna be so lovely, honestly. I do have the audiobook for both of these, and I might like every now and then pick up the audiobook because I also really want to finish my blanket. I was talking about it in my last vlog. I still haven't done anything with it because I finished that vlog yesterday and I've not had time to work on it. But today, I would like to put the last 2 rows on it because I'm so close to finishing it and I frankly would like to be done with it. Also, while I listen to an audiobook, I do want to work in my Hobonichi a little bit. I feel like I've not been doing a bang-up job at keeping up to date with it. And I don't want to go back and like backfill these pages because that's not fun, and I know if I make myself do that, I'm gonna start to dislike the process overall, so I'm not doing that. but I do really want to make sure I have like the calendar pages filled out like at the beginning. So I just did the one for November last night, even though it is certainly not November anymore. But this morning I do want to do the ones for December, even though it's like halfway through December and January, just so I can, you know, have those done. So I'll show you guys that as well. I also do want to do a little bit of present wrapping in this vlog as well, which is going to be very fun because I think I have just about everything collected for Cass's present. So I figured I could show you the wrapping process. Also, I love wrapping gifts. It's one of my favorite parts of gift giving, honestly. It's always just so fun to me. So I'm gonna do that in this vlog as well. I feel like I just have like a lot of little things that I would like to do in this video. So I think that's everything that I need to tell you in this intro. It is currently about 9 o'clock in the morning. I think we're planning to start around 10 probably. So I have an hour to kind of just do whatever. I'm going to go eat some breakfast. I'm just gonna get prepared for my day of reading. And hopefully it'll be super fun. So I will see you guys in an hour. What am I gonna start with though? It's gonna be one of these. I don't know which one it's gonna be. I think I'm gonna take this hour to decide, and then we will find out what I'm reading in about 3 seconds. So let's go. All right, I've got my Diet Coke. I think I'm gonna be starting with The Wedding Witch. I feel like this will be a good one, like a short one to start with. Got Cass on FaceTime. I'm gonna call Mackenzie. There she is. I'm gonna call Mackenzie in a few minutes here and get reading. I'm about 2 hours into my readathon. It's currently 1 o'clock. I did end up starting a bit later than I was thinking I was going to. Obviously, it doesn't matter though. But in those 2 hours, I have been focusing on reading The Wedding Witch. I'm currently on page 150. It is reading so quickly, and I'm just having a really fun time with it so far, which is really all I could ask for from a book that I want to read in a 24-hour readathon, so it's kind of perfect. But this book definitely continues to be just as fun as the first two have been in the series. I just love a witchy rom-com, but I love the fact that this one is witchy, but it also is like holiday-y as well, because the other two are definitely more Halloween-centric, which I love, obviously. But having like a spooky witchy story to read in December, I'm also very much into that concept. And it definitely has had some spooky vibes so far, which I'll talk about in a second. Because obviously I would like to tell you what this book is about. Basically, we are following two main characters, one of them being Bowen, who is the brother of the other two brothers that we've been following so far in this series, as well as our other main character, whose name is Tamsin, who was also kind of somewhat featured in the first book in the series specifically, I think. And she definitely was more of an antagonist in the first book in a way. So I think it's fun that she's now, you know, reformed. She's learned from her mistakes and the things that she did a couple of years ago, and now she gets to be like our main female lead. So I think that's fun. I also just really like Tamsin as a character. She's very snarky, she's very sarcastic, and I love her dynamic with Bowen because they both are like just constantly teasing each other, being so sarcastic with each other, but in the best possible way. Like that kind of dynamic, like that banter, I'm always into. I also think it's really interesting because I think the other two books in this series kind of have a more like hate to love kind of arc for our characters, but in this one, right off the bat, like, you know they're into each other. And even they've said it right off the bat that they are so into each other, which isn't necessarily my favorite kind of trope. I don't even know if it's a trope, like general arc for the romance to follow in a romance book, because I do like a little bit of, you know, dissonance between them in the beginning, I guess. But I still really like the dynamic that we have, so for them, I'll overlook that, I suppose. But basically, the very beginning of this book opens up with Bowen hiring Tamsin to be his, like, acquirer of things. Basically, she like acquires magical artifacts for people, and that is like her job, and Bowen is looking for some specific things, so he hires her to work for him exclusively, and that's kind of how they know each other. And then like over however many years, because like the first part of this book is set like, I don't know, 7 years ago or something, and then like obviously they have developed this very good rapport over the years, and in the present day they are obviously very much good friends. They talk a lot for work, but you can tell that it's a little bit more than just being co-workers, which I like a lot, even though Tamsin does have a no sleeping with my co-workers kind of rule, which I feel like is 100% definitely gonna get broken. So, you know, there is kind of like a, oh my god, we shouldn't kind of thing, but it won't matter. But through some turns of events, they both end up at this wedding, and neither of them knew that they were gonna be there. They both like kind of showed up at the same time, and we're having like a what are you doing here kind of moment, which I thought was interesting because I feel like it was kind of leading up to it like being an issue that both of them were here, because Tamsin ended up taking a job with somebody even though she's supposed to be exclusively working with Bowen. But it was just like, he didn't care. He was just like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever, and like we moved past it, which like, I don't care that we moved past it, but I thought it was like, why set up the exclusivity? I feel like the fact that he didn't care that she was like taking this other job makes the fact that they're working together kind of just a reason for them to not get together earlier in the book, if you know what I mean. It just seems a little bit convoluted for like romance purposes. But they're both at this castle, this stunning castle, might I say. I love anything set at an old castle. I'm always into it. Also, this castle is very spooky. It might be haunted, which obviously I'm loving. One of the people that lives there was talking about it. They were like, yeah, two of my gardeners dug up skeletons under the rose bushes the other day. And I love that. Like, very much spooky vibes in this holiday rom-com, which I'm all for. So that's kind of like the setup, I guess, but there's even more like plot things that are at work, because they do indeed end up going back in time to 1957, because the bride of like the wedding that was happening was having a fit. I don't really think she wants to marry her husband, so she like went off into the garden and cried, and she was like, I just want to go back in time and like make sure this doesn't happen, something to that effect. And she ended up sending Tamsin and Bowen back in time like 70 years, I think, which again feels a little bit convoluted and for plot purposes, but I don't even care because I'm still really enjoying this book. So they end up getting sent back 70 years. They are like thrust into this other wedding that is happening 70 years ago, and they have to pretend that they're married because they're a man and a woman and they're hanging out basically. So obviously in the 50s they have to pretend they're married. So you know how it goes. So obviously the rest of the book is going to follow them as they try to travel back to 2024. Bowen is also having a little bit of trouble with his magic, so that's definitely throwing a little bit of a wrench in the plans. But, you know, despite the fact that there are a couple things about this book that I don't like, I'm still having a fun time. Like, I just love Aaron Sterling's witchy romances. They're always just entertaining, you know? I feel like our two characters have really good banter. I love the witchy elements that are thrown in there. I also love the castle that this is taking place in. Also a little bit of a one-bed trope situation is always a good thing to throw into a rom-com as well. So it's just a good time thus far. I definitely will be probably reading the rest of this very quickly. I have about 120 pages left, which is just insane, honestly, that this book is so short. I wish she would make these books longer. I feel like all of her books, I mean, I don't know about this one thus far, but I feel like the first two books in this series could benefit from being longer. And I feel like I'm probably gonna feel the same way about this one as well, because I do think the romance, even at this point, is developing very quickly, which isn't a deal breaker. I'm still really enjoying it, but I just feel like it could be that much better if more time was devoted to kind of developing the romance more. I am very interested to see how the kind of plot elements are going to progress in this last 120 pages as well, because I feel like we need more than 120 pages to do this, but we'll see. I don't know. So, plans for the afternoon are obviously to finish up The Wedding Witch. I also do want to wrap Cass's Christmas presents, which I'm very excited about because I got her these stunning illustrated editions of The Lord of the Rings that I got myself earlier this year, and they're so beautiful. And she's mentioned many times that she wants them, so I'm like, this is what I'm here for. So I'm gonna wrap those up for her, which I'm very excited about, so I can get those sent off to her soon. And then I will need to start another book. I'm probably going to start Lovelight Farms after I finish up The Wedding Witch. So I will see you guys after I've done all of that, after I finish this up, and I will have many updates probably the next time I see you. Returned from my quick little excursion outside. I literally just wanted to go to Sonic to get a drink because I thought it sounded like the perfect little readathon treat. I got a Sprite Zero with cherry flavoring. delicious. But I do have a couple of updates for you guys because I have finished a book and I've also started a book, and I'm very excited to give you one of those updates at least. But actually, before I get into doing that, I do quickly want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Skillshare. I'm sure you guys know, but I've been working with Skillshare a lot over the course of this year, and I'm so happy that they want to continue to work with me because I really do love them. If you guys don't know, Skillshare is an online learning community full of thousands of different classes that you can possibly take in so many different topics that are all led by industry professionals. And especially now that we are moving into the kind of darker, cozier, stay-at-home time of year, it is kind of the perfect time to maybe pick up a new hobby, and Skillshare is the perfect place to do that. Obviously, I'm very into crochet, but recently I actually made my very first amigurumi figure almost. He's still missing an ear. I still have not completely finished him. But it's this little Snoopy guy that I am gifting to Mackenzie for Christmas, and he's so cute, and I'm so sad that I have to let him go, but I know she'll love him. Well, I hope she'll love him, so he'll be going to a good home. But after making this, I kind of want to make more amigurumi figures, so I figured maybe I should check out a class on Skillshare to go over more of the basics with me, because I was kind of just like freeballing it with this random pattern that was available online. But I feel like maybe taking a class could be a little bit more beneficial. So I found this class on Skillshare taught by Emily Balduc that's called the Amigurumi Crochet Masterclass, which is clearly so perfect. And this class really does cover everything that you could possibly need. It goes over all of the supplies and materials as well as the basic stitches, and then it goes through a plethora of different animals that you can make using crochet, which is just so fun. I've always seen like amigurumi around and I was like, oh, I can never do that. But now I feel like I do have the power to do so, which is very exciting, and I definitely want to try and make some more. But obviously, if this doesn't really seem like something that you would be interested in, they have so many different classes and things such as DIYs, photography, art, illustration. They also recently introduced some classes on creative careers and creative inspiration. So if you want to check them out, which I definitely would recommend you do, I do have a special offer from Skillshare for you guys. The first 500 people that click my link in the description will get their first month of Skillshare for free. That's a whole month of potentially finding a new hobby that you could love for free. So thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video and supporting me and my channel, and to you guys who are watching this as well for always supporting me and my channel. I appreciate you guys so much, so just thank you so much. And with that, let us talk reading updates, because I did indeed finish up The Wedding Witch, and I think this is my least favorite out of the 3 in this series. Like, it just was not my favorite, and it makes me sad. I think my main problem with this book is that our main characters from basically page 1 are in love with each other. They are like thinking it, they are very into each other, and I just don't really think that makes for a super interesting romance novel, because I feel like the best parts of romance books are like the will they won't they, or the pining, or the tension, or whatever. And it was just really not that enjoyable, I guess. It also didn't really deliver in a narrative way either, because the plot was not like that interesting, because even though it sounds cool, like our characters go back 70 years and they have to fix this thing in the past before they can go back to the present day, which is fun. But I feel like our characters truly did nothing when they were in the past timeline. Like, everything was either happening to them or for them. Like, they had other characters that like ended up solving the problems, which I guess in a way makes the time traveling aspect make more sense, because they weren't directly impacting the past. But I don't think that makes for a very interesting story, to be honest. Also, if you want to think too hardly about how time traveling works and like how things you do in the past would have like a butterfly effect and affect a bunch of things in the present, don't read this book, because they do end up telling the people from the past that they're from the future. And then they also tell the people from the past what ends up happening to them later down the line. I'm like, that's like rule 1 of time traveling. What are you doing? Like, I just didn't like it. There was also like this love confession that I also just didn't like. So the back half of this book, it really went downhill. At first I was like, you know what, it's fine, I can deal with it, it'll be cool, it'll at least deliver on a witchy story. And it kind of did, but again, not in a way that I loved, I guess. I don't know. Like, this book, it was fine. It was fun. For the most part, I was having a good time while I was reading it, but nothing about it's gonna stick with me, and it's easily my least favorite in the series, but it was still a good time. It was still a good holiday rom-com situation. Well, it's not even really a rom-com. I mean, it's kind of funny. I don't know. I just love the XX so much, and like, it's nowhere near the XX, although I did love seeing the characters from the first 2 books in this one. That was so fun. This book itself was like fine. But in a more exciting update, I have started Lovelight Farms. I'm not very far into it. I'm only on page like 50, but they are so cute so far. I'm like, I don't want to get ahead of myself, but they're so freaking cute. And I'm so excited for the rest of this book. Basically, this book is following Stella, and she runs this Christmas tree farm that has kind of been going downhill. She's not really making a lot of money with it. So she ends up signing up for this contest that this influencer does, where the influencer will come to this place and like talk about it on their platform and whatnot. So obviously that would mean a lot of free advertising for the Christmas tree farm. So she enters in the contest, but she ends up lying on the form and saying that she opened up this Christmas tree farm with her boyfriend to make it like really romantic and like so cute. The only problem is Stella wins the contest, but there is no boyfriend in sight. So enter her best friend Luca. They have been best friends for quite a long time, I think. And she is so down bad for this man, like she's obsessed. But she really does not want to ask him to pretend to be her boyfriend when the influencer comes, because she's like, oh my god, like, I don't know if I can do that. I just really don't want to, but like push comes to shove. And she does. So now we are in a fake dating situation where they have to convince this influencer and the town that they've been dating, but obviously they aren't dating, but they've both been harboring secret feelings for each other for a really long time. And I feel like I might eat it up. I don't know. I'm only 55 pages into it, so I don't want to get ahead of myself, but the first 55 pages are really cute and they have a really cute dynamic. So, yes, I will leave it there for now, and I'm gonna go read some more and hopefully give you a more substantial update when my feelings become a little bit more concrete. But so far, so good. All right, it's later. It's currently 8:02, so I think I've been reading for like 9 hours or something. And I have read some more of Lovelight Farms, and it is so good, honestly. I truly didn't even want to stop to give an update, but I was like, no. I need to let you guys know what's up and let you know my midway. It's not even midway because I'm on page like 190 now. Every time I was like, I should stop and do an update. I was like, but like, what if I read one more chapter? So I'm a little bit under being 2/3 of the way through the book. We'll definitely be finishing this very quickly because I need to see how things wrap up in this book. It's just so good in like all aspects, honestly, because I really love the romance. I really like our characters individually. I also really like how all of our characters' personal issues are kind of woven into this story as well, because it's given enough time to develop them properly without detracting too much from the romance, which is always what I want, because I feel like a romance book that's like got too much romance in it is kind of boring almost. I feel like those like external factors are the things that really make our characters feel like real people. So I love that. And this one is definitely focusing on Stella's relationship with her family. Her mother passed away 10 years ago, which has obviously been really hard for her to deal with. And even though it happened a decade ago, it still pops up in small ways in her life all the time. And obviously it's really hard to watch her go through that. She also has a kind of tenuous relationship with her father because she found her father after her mother died, and he doesn't really seem to want to have anything to do with her, so that's also kind of like a hard thing for her to deal with as well. And then we also have the whole like added thing of her farm not doing too well, so we're kind of watching her deal with that. There's been like some odd things happening on the farm, like trees dying, and somebody came onto the property and knocked out one of her cameras recently. So there's also kind of like some intrigue going on with that, because you're kind of wondering, is somebody sabotaging her farm? Why? She just runs a Christmas tree farm. What could somebody possibly have against a Christmas tree farm? But obviously there's probably gonna be something going on there. And Stella's definitely very, I don't want to say naive, but like she really wants to believe that somebody is not sabotaging her farm. So she's kind of been making excuses for it and not really focusing on it too much. But like the more things that happen, the more she's like, ah, damn, like what's going on? So obviously as a reader, I also want to know what's going on. Also, aside from that, obviously the main thing I love about this book is the romance. I am obsessed with them, honestly. And I love their whole like fake dating but actually were really into each other kind of thing. I feel like it's been a very like slow and casual transition almost from them fake dating to them just realizing they're really into each other and dating, even though like they were so close as friends. Not a lot has changed aside from like being more physical with each other, obviously, but like they just, like, the way he looks after her, the way she cares for him, it's just so stunning. And I feel like it's been a minute since I found a romance that I was like, oh my god, them. But like this one, so far I love them. I have 100 pages left, like 110 pages left, so I hope it stays that way. If they disappoint me in these last 110 pages, I might have to give up on romance as a genre. Not actually, but like maybe a little bit. Because if this book lets me down the way The Wedding Witch did, I'll riot. However, I don't think that's gonna happen because what's been set up so far is so good, but I am a little bit scared to see the whole like third act conflict thing going on. Also, the like social media influencer is coming to the farm soon and is going to obviously be putting their fake, not fake relationship to the test a little bit. But honestly, they're just so freaking cute and I love them. I also really enjoyed the scene where Stella went to Luca's house for Thanksgiving and she got to like hang out with his family and she was just so happy about it because he's been inviting her to Thanksgiving for years now and she's always said no because she kind of uses it as a day to carry out the traditions that her and her mom used to have. But at some point she kind of realized that, you know, like maybe this isn't great for me, just staying in my house eating gas station food on Thanksgiving. So she went to his house for Thanksgiving and hung out with all of his family and it was so cute. And it was also really well contrasted against her own Thanksgiving experience because she went to her father's house a couple weeks before Thanksgiving for Thanksgiving. And needless to say, it did not go over very well. But there are just so many cute like family moments, so many cute relationship moments. I also really love all of the kind of periphery side characters that are in this. You don't get a lot of time with any of them, but I just really like what they add to the story. This is very much like a small town situation, and obviously like fake dating in a small town is kind of hard, but it was really funny because when they went out and were like trial running their fake dating, everybody was like, oh my god, finally. I think there was even like a betting pool for it when it was finally gonna happen, and I love that. And at the current moment, I want to read the rest of the series. I'm really interested to see what the rest of the series is gonna be like because I just really love these two characters. So I'm wondering if I'm gonna like the other couples because I think there's like 4 books in this series. So I have like 3 other romance books that I now probably most likely need to read. However, I can't say it has like stunning Christmas vibes really. Like it does take place at a farm, but this book starts in like mid-October, and I think at the point that we're at now, we're still only in like late November, I think. So even though I was kind of thinking this was a little more Christmassy, at the present moment, it's not. Like, it's not really a Christmas throughout kind of thing. I'm assuming obviously we'll get it at the end of the book when it's actually December, like end of December for them. But throughout the book so far, it hasn't been like the best Christmas read, but I don't even care. I truly don't care because I'm living and laughing and loving. I can't lie. Also, Cass and Mackenzie are both reading this book as well, and I think we're all having the best time. But yeah, there's my update on Love Light Farms. I am having a great time, and I'm definitely going to be speeding through this last 110 pages, so yeah, so glad that I've finally found another romance book that I'm like obsessed with because I don't think I've had one of those since like last year, like last summer. It's been a long time. So yes, just good stuff all around. I'm going to go finish this up and I will come back when I have done so.
I'm gonna start charging by the second.
Will you just say hi to my damn video?
I have work to do, and I'm taking my valuable time to say hello to your wonderful community. They don't deserve you, Katie. They don't deserve you.
What the hell?
Hi vlog.
I don't know if I want you to say hi anymore. Mackenzie, you can say hi. We don't have.
Girl, you hi.
I want you to know I'm covering you with my hand.
Shit in my vlog. I don't want to hear it.
I don't know how to follow up after this.
Alright, better question, since Cass wants to be annoying. How are y'all feeling about Love Light Farms, the unofficial buddy read of the group?
Oh god.
It's great.
Wait, do the reactions work on a group? That's
Oh my god.
That's how I feel about Love Light Farm.
I can't do that because I had updated my computer.
Here, I'll do it for you one more time, just for you. This one's dedicated to Mackenzie.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
just so honored.
Katie and I talked Kenzie into reading Love Light Farm, so now it has become the official, unofficial buddy read.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's been so great.
It's kind of a vibe to read it all at the same time like this.
It really is, and just like talk about it. Alright, hello everybody. It is currently Thursday morning. I have, what time is it? Where is my phone? It is currently 10:12 in the morning. So I have like 48 minutes left in my readathon. So certainly I'm not going to be finishing any more books, but I do have some reading updates because I have finished a book. Actually, I finished 2 books and I started a book. So we do have things to chat about this morning. So yeah, we ended up staying up, me, Cass, and Mackenzie, we ended up staying up until like 3 a.m. last night, just chatting about literally whatever. So not a lot of reading was done, but I had the best time, so it was okay. But I do have some reading updates and such, so let's chat about them. First of all, I finished up Love Light Farms, and it was just so cute. I absolutely loved the romance in this book. It was so good. I don't think this is a 5-star romance book. I feel like some of the kind of periphery elements just weren't really quite as developed as I was wanting them to be. Even though last night I was talking about how I liked those elements, and I still do like those elements, but I feel like they were very, very much in the periphery. Even though they ended up causing problems for the relationship in the book, but I don't even care honestly, because like, Stella and Luca were so freaking cute, so like I don't even care. This is probably one of my favorite new romances. It's not like a new favorite romance book, but like the romance in this book, 5 stars to them because I really loved them. And I need to read the rest of this series. I will be reading the rest of this series because I think the second one follows one of the people that works on Stella's farm and somebody else. That might be a spoiler actually. I think I know who the love interest in that one is, and it excites me. I feel like that one's gonna be very fun. So I will have to pick them up soon, honestly, because I need more of this. I just really hope that I like the rest of the romances, because if they're anything like this one, I'm gonna be obsessed. So this was a solid read. I really needed a solid read in this video, so I'm very happy about that. Because the next book that I'm gonna talk about, I read Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. Well, actually, I audibly, like, I narrated this book for Cass and Mackenzie, like half of it. I read at least half of it out loud to them last night. Just because, why not, honestly, and that was kind of fun. But I didn't finish it last night, and I ended up finishing the second half of it this morning. And this is honestly one of my least favorite Ali Hazelwood books, even though it's a novella and it's not fair to really compare it to the rest of her works. Out of her novellas, it's my least favorite, and just in general, it is my least favorite. My main problem, actually let me tell you what this is about. I'll tell you what it's about and then I'll tell you my issues. Basically, this is a very short novella that's following our main character, Jamie, and she has to go over to her neighbor's house to borrow a pan on like Christmas or something. So she goes over there, and the only person that is currently home is Mark, which is a guy that she definitely has an odd history with, not really in a relationship sense, but in just like a friendship general sense, kind of. She spends the first half of this novella just recounting their history and like their setup and how they were friends, and then as he grew into a teenager he became like kind of annoying, whatever, but you could definitely tell that he was into her and she kind of was into him, but she also has some past trauma that makes it hard for her to want to jump into relationships and whatnot, and that's all fine and good. Like the setup part was fine. So she ends up going over to his house to borrow a pan, but there's like a blizzard outside and she can't walk home, and he's like, you're gonna have to stay here. It's kind of like the baby it's cold outside vibe, where he's like, oh my god, like there's so much snow, you can't leave, but like really it's for his own nefarious purposes. Literally, they end up playing a game of truth or dare. And I don't remember what she asks him first. Like the second she's finished with that question, he's like, when's the last time you've had sex? And I'm like, all right, swinging right out of the gate. Honestly, that was kind of funny because it was just so abrupt. But I was like, interesting, but okay. But then as the book progresses and as you learn more about Mark, he's kind of weird. Like, I'm getting major weird vibes from Mark and I don't like it. Like, what I'm gonna tell you next might be kind of spoilery, but I just want to talk about it because I don't like it. So, you know, skip to this timestamp if you don't want to hear what I have to say about it. It's also a novella, so I don't feel like that bad talking about spoilers. But in one of the like flashbacky kind of chapter things that's going on, her and her friend Tabitha, who is Mark's sister, they end up like barging into his room and yelling at him for something. And it turns out, like through some turns of events, it's revealed that he has like a box of photos of Jamie just in his desk. And I was like, all right, that's odd. And then later in the book, he ends up revealing that he's had a picture of her as his lock screen, like ever since he took said picture when they were like 17. And he's like, I've changed it every now and then, but it always comes back to you. I'm like, you, what? Like, just, it's not like crazy behavior, but it's weird behavior. And I just didn't like it. I really did not like this one, mainly because of Mark. Mark's a weirdo, and I stand by that. I am not a Mark apologist, even though Jamie called herself a Mark apologist, and I don't like it. Yeah, honestly, I liked it a lot less than I was even expecting to, and I didn't expect to love it, so. There's Cruel Winter with You. I wish I had it read. But the experience of reading it out loud to Cass Mackenzie was fun, so that kind of saved that. So do with that what you will. But it was interesting. But then, let me talk about my last reading update because I have started a book this morning because I started Holiday Romance. I'm currently not very far into it. I think I'm like a couple chapters into it. I woke up this morning at like 8. I had my alarm set for 8 and I was like, I can't do it. I'm so tired. So I've been having a slow morning, just doing like a little bit of reading. So I'm currently, what percentage? I'm 8% into Holiday Romance. But I'm really excited to read some more of this actually because I think it's gonna be really cute. The setup is basically what I said in the intro. They both are Irish, but they are living in Chicago currently, I think. And for years they've been getting on the same flight back home for the holidays, so obviously we're gonna watch them as they bond over the years, which I just think is a really cool setup, and I think it's gonna be fun to kind of watch their relationship grow as we like flash back and forth to like all the different flights they've been on and to where they are in the present day as she is, you know, struggling with what she wants to do with her life. So I think there's gonna be like another layer of her, you know, realizing she doesn't want to be a big city lawyer anymore and the typical trappings of a holiday romance. I think it's gonna be fun. I'm very excited. I'm gonna do a little bit of reading this morning. I now only have 38 minutes left until the end of my readathon. So I'm just gonna read as much of Holiday Romance as I can before the end of this 24 hours. And then I will come back and end off the vlog. Alright, so it's about an hour later, but I am officially finished with my readathon. It has been 24 full hours. And I had a really fun time doing this. It didn't yield the best results, I would say, because 2 of these books were not my favorite books. However, I feel like the other 2 books, even though I'm not super far into one of them, are kind of, you know, saving my reading a little bit. So I'm gonna consider that a win. I also read around 700 pages, which I am very content with, especially to do that in, you know, a span of 24 hours. I'm cool with that. And I also got to hang out with Cass and Mackenzie all day yesterday, which is so nice. They're here now, but they're muted, but I'll make them say bye in a moment. But yes, let me get a quick, or actually let me give you a bit more of an update on holiday romance, because I have read just like the smallest amount more. I think I'm now on page like 50 something maybe. I'm especially excited to read some more of the things that are going on in the current day timeline, because Molly and Andrew, who are our 2 main characters, obviously they take the same flight back to Ireland every year, but their flight has been canceled and they aren't really sure if they're going to be able to get another flight, and it's Christmas Eve. So they decided that they are going to spend Christmas together in Chicago, hang out, watch movies, all the kind of stuff, which honestly just sounds so cozy. And I'm really excited to, you know, see a little bit more of their relationship, because thus far they aren't really, you know, feeling a certain type of way about each other. Like, they're friends and they really like each other, but obviously as they hang out, maybe during Christmas, some feelings will ensue, and I'm excited about that. I've just been having a fun time with this one so far, so I'm probably going to, you know, just read it over the course of however long it takes me to read it. Certainly not going to finish it today, because I've had enough of reading books in a short span of time for the time being, but there's my little update on that. But I also do want to do a quick recap of everything that I read in this video. Obviously, first of all, I read The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. It is not my favorite in the series, that's for sure, but it is fun. It's cute, but like, don't expect too much out of it, you know? It is the perfect, like, Christmassy but not Christmassy read, because it takes place at Yule and not Christmas. So do with that what you will. Then I read, honestly, the star of the vlog, Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. So good. So good. I had such a fun time reading this, and it made the 24-hour readathon worth it. I had the best time reading this book, and I will be reading the other books in whatever this series is called. I don't know what it's called, but I will be picking up In the Weeds. That's the next one soon. I know they take place like kind of seasonally, but I don't know if I can wait to read them in those specific seasons, so I might just, you know, read them all very, very soon. So I'm very excited about this. It's definitely a book that I've seen around for a really long time and I've been wanting to read for a really long time, so I'm really glad that I finally picked it up and that I loved it. And then I also read Cruel Winter with You by Ali Hazelwood. I don't want to talk about it, honestly, but you know, that's the wrap up on everything that I read in this video. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. I would obviously love to know if you've read any of these books. Also, most importantly, Christmas should be in a few days as I'm posting this. So if you do celebrate, Merry Christmas Eve. I hope you're having a wonderful week. And if you don't celebrate, I obviously hope you also have a wonderful week. But also, before we go, I want to have Cass and Mackenzie say goodbye, because they are obviously a big part of this readathon and I had so much fun doing it with them. Do you guys want to say bye to my vlog now? The silence is astounding.
Of course. Oh no, Mackenzie just
Oh
left.
no, Mackenzie left the FaceTime.
Mackenzie's like, say bye? No.
Like, she did say bye to us.
Whoops.
Whoopsie. Alright, are you guys ready to say bye?
Absolutely.
Alright, bye. I will have their vlogs linked down below.
Obliterate the comment section. Like the video.
Oh my god, I feel like it's been forever since we've done that. Amazing. So yeah, I'm going to leave you there. Again, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video.
Don't mind me.
I know you're gonna do it again. You don't fool me.
Alright, I'll mute now.
I don't even know what I was saying. Also, I did want to say thank you so much again to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Don't forget, I do have a link to them down below, and the first 500 people that click that link will get their first month of Skillshare for free. But yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I also hope you're having an amazing Monday, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye.